Hi everybody, this is Diane. This is a very special video because I purchased a journal from a YouTuber and Etsy shop owner and journal creator that I've recently been watching on YouTube. Her channel and her shop are called 11 Dancing Dandelions. Her name is Danielle. I will link her channel and her shop below. And I like her style. And she did a couple of little golden book journals. One was Cinderella. I think, oh, there was Dumbo too. Dumbo, Cinderella, and Bambi. And when I went to her shop, there was Dumbo was gone. And I thought I would want the Cinderella because it was a really vintage book cover, and I loved the pictures on it. And I watched both videos and looked at both pictures and both sets of pictures, and I ended up choosing Bambi because I loved the woodland deer, the woodland animals, and there was just something about Bambi that really spoke to me. So I got that one. So I'm excited to open it up and look at it. Look how beautifully she wrapped it, and there's a deer die cut in there. I love it. And I got a little gift here, so I'm going to open that first. Looks like my fingers won't work. Guess I'll have to cut it. Put a lot of tape on here. There's a card. Look at that. You can admire that while I look at my card. And she wrote, "Every summer has a story." Oh, she's been a long-time follower of my YouTube channel. Thank you, Danielle. Ah, well, of course. I do like to show support to other YouTubers and creators, and I don't buy a lot because, you know, I just don't have a lot of, you know, extra disposable income, but sometimes they just speak to me and I feel like I need to do this. So look at that. This is gorgeous. It's got this little button on an elastic string, and this looks like a vintage card. Yes, it's a vintage postcard. What a wonderful idea. Very nice. It's very neatly sewn. And this is like a fake leather or a real leather, but it's probably fake leather spine. That is really cool. I think I want to make one of those, or several of those. That's really neat. And I always like to have little notebooks handy for writing in. Thank you, Danielle. Now, let's get into my Bambi book. There's a certain page in here, I'll tell you, that really tipped my thoughts into the direction of getting Bambi instead of Cinderella. And I'll mention it when I get there. I love the deer cutout. I will definitely find a spot to put it in my journal. And these are pretty. I love the paper that you wrapped it in. Handmade with love. Isn't that beautiful? There's a packet of goodies too. So this is a vintage cover. Oh, does she untie it or just slip it off? I think she just slipped it off. This is lovely. She sewed all around it and down the center, and it's all frayed. She must have, well, I was going to say she must have frayed it, but even tearing it will cause it to fray like that. It's such a pretty print for this. It's perfect. And this kind of looks like a tree, like inside of a tree. And so this is one of the older books from, you can tell by the spine, or the back cover. Oh, I love this. This is beautiful. I think she used illustrations out of other Bambi books too. Just a card that I can write on, and an ex libris that I can leave inside the pocket. Yeah, it won't fit there, but I could put it there if I wanted to adhere it. Or I could just write my name and the date and tuck it inside there, or glue it to this. Lots of options here. I love this paper that you chose, and it's got this pleated fabric. Oh yeah, another thing I liked about it was that it has authentic vintage labels in it. This is for witch hazel. This looks like the fly leaf of a children's book with one of the tiny paper clips to hold the witch hazel. And this, isn't that adorable? Yes. I have a lot of children's book pages with, or images, you know, with the woodland animals, and I've got some digitals with woodland animals, and I'm actually going to write in this and add all of these woodland creatures that I love so much, and I'm going to really have fun with this book, and I'll take you along when I'm working in it. These are little patchwork pieces, little tiny patchwork. They're not sewn, they're glued, but what a beautiful way to use up tiny scraps of fabric. I love that idea. I'm going to borrow that idea from you, Danielle. This is cut from one of the book pages, and then a tag with a digital ticket on it, a card with a digital ticket. It's very lovely. It has an arrow that says lake, one of the beautiful fold notes. Cute little page there, and more patchwork here. Now these are sewn. I think they're glued together and then they're stitching. And look at the tatting, that colorful tatting there. And I love this. I'll probably adhere that to one of the pages along with something else. I could glue this here, you know, and write on that. This is a vintage label. Here's one of the pages from the book. This is gorgeous. Oh, I love that. I have a thing for bunnies and deer and little ducks and little chicks and chickens, and I know they're not woodland animals, but even cute squirrels. Love that. There's Sassy Squirrel. One of the vintage children's game cards. Some ledger. This looks like wrapping paper with this sticker, die cut, Route US 66. Oh, and there's a bottle cap. That's cool, because I have a lot of bottle caps, but I don't have that one. I love bottle caps. I have to buy them whenever I see them. That is from the book, and there is a botanical page from a field guide tucked in there, and scripture. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. That's lovely. I need to hear that. There's a particular person in my life who I don't have much contact with him, but my daughter does, and he makes our lives miserable. And so I need to remember to love him. It's even hard to say. Friendly Bear Trading Post. Isn't that so sweet? I love that. I think it's a die cut or a digital. Fussy cut. So cute. And Bambi's mother. I always thought she was so beautiful. Bambi was a movie that I went to see in the theater with my family when I was a pretty young child. I remember being upset when Bambi's mother was shot. And I also, we didn't go to movies. That's the first movie I remember going to. And we went to see Mary Poppins at the drive-thru. And they're the only things I remember going to the theater to see with my parents. But I remember juju beans on the floor, like little black, like nobody wanted the black ones. So they were all over the floor of the theater, and I was just amazed that there was candy all over the floor. Why would somebody do that? This is great. I love the colors on this. Wild Animals of Africa. Was that in the pocket or tucked up here? I'm going to put it here. I can rewatch the video and see where it really belongs. There's a feather here. And a die-cut ticket. It says nature. And another of the playing cards, the kids' cards. I think this is 2 pages glued together. The papers you chose are beautiful. Explore, and there's a little squirrel down there. Look at this. Oh, love it. Oh, that opens out. Bambi and Feline and Thumper. Pretty rickrack. More of the patchwork. And there's some rickrack. And this is great. Look at, it's got ribbon here, a rickrack here, little patches on it. A double patch there, and then it's sewn. I think everything is glued and then it's sewn. I really like that, Danielle. You're giving me ideas. Here are those rabbits. We saw those before, so this must be a sheet of stationery that she folded, and before she used it as a page. And here's a photograph of, looks like a mother and daughter standing at a scenic overlook. In the 60s, my family and I took a trip. We call it the trip down south. It's from Pennsylvania, where I live, to South Carolina, and we camped along the way. And my dad had to stop. We were on the Blue Ridge Highway, and the what was it? There's 2. Blue Ridge Highway, and oh, I don't remember. There's another scenic road, and my dad had to stop at the scenic overlooks, and I was terrified because of the drop. I didn't like heights, but that's what that reminds me of. So I can write about that in this book. Some children in their boat, and a replica of an outdoor magazine cover with beavers. I get all kinds of things to play with. Look at these vintage coin rolls. I love them. I love the colors. And a card, postcard. Oh goodness. And an owl tally card. All of these elements are just perfect. I'm really glad I chose this journal. I'm so excited about it. There's a little frog die cut there. Love that. That's a song I learned in grade school. I've been working on the railroad. I love this rickrack on the edge of the ledger paper. Look at that. Oh my goodness, I love it. That's lovely. Beautiful card, and there's some stamps. I guess they're a sort of loyalty stamp. I've never seen them. It says Eagle. And a paper bingo in brown. So I've got a bunch of the paper bingo sheets, but not in brown, but that's perfect for this journal. Beautiful plaid there. And another page from the book. I love your piecing. So this, it's thick. It's got cardstock or something in there. And there's another one that flips out. How many signatures do we have here? Oh, 3. Goody. I get to look at 3 signatures. Adventure. There's another milk bottle cap that I don't have. The last ones I got, which was just not even a week ago, it was Memorial Day, I got a baggie with a big variety in it. I don't remember how many, I don't know if I counted how many caps were in it. It wasn't a ton, but there was a variety. And that was the first time, I think, that I saw some that had this little tab. So that's interesting that you gave me one that has that tab, but I don't have this design. Probably, you know, they were local dairies. This is in Ohio, East Liverpool, Ohio, and she's in Florida. So they do travel. There's a turtle stamp and a vintage calendar page or record page. It says March 1st, but it doesn't say the year. This one is 1947. Oh, this is so much fun. I hope you're having fun too. Rushing Smoky Mountains National Park Stream. That looks like a really old postcard. I mean, 60s old is what it looks like to me. And a beautiful marigold card. There is a probably a first cover, yeah, first day of issue, 1940. Oh wow, beautiful Statue of Liberty, green color, so it matches beautifully with this book, and a pretty fabric tab. There's another. You know, I like that it's not all woodland animals. You have this little girl, and she could be out in the woods with daisies. Looks like she's doing the "He Loves Me" thing because she's picking the petals off. And the colors match. I tend to, you know, I would have probably looked for an animal thing to put there, but I love this little girl being there. So I have long realized that I need to be a little more flexible, and maybe you'll help me do that, Danielle, looking at this. Let's go camping. I love that. There's the center. There's a fabric square there she put on diagonal. That's really cute. And a yo-yo. We all know I like the yo-yos. There's Bambi. Oh, I love that. And there's a camping permit. That is so fun. So my family camped. That was the only vacation I ever knew as a kid, you know, into my adulthood with my husband. The only vacation I ever had with my family was camping. And we camped every year, usually a couple times a year, but we camped close enough that my dad could go to work, and then on his vacation we would camp a little further away. And then that one year we did that 2-week trip down south, which was really awesome. So that was my vacation, but we didn't have one of these. We had a pop-up camper, and we had 6 kids. So it was a camper with 3 beds, and then my brothers slept on chaise lounges under the canopy. It was connected to the camper. That's a groundhog. Woodchuck. There's little Thumper. She cut that out. Glued it on. Oh, and there's a squirrel on that side. What a nice surprise. I am really enjoying this, Danielle. Look at that. Bambi and his dad, the Prince of the Forest. That's very retro looking, and it looks nice with the plaid paper here. Oh, these are stickers. So I need to go through all my ephemera and find things like this and put them all in a little bundle and keep them with this book so I can use them. these kind of things. I don't know if I have any stickers of wildlife. I used to. I hope I still do. And my little images that I've cut from children's books and things like that. I want to make a little bundle that I can keep right with this so it's handy when I want to work. I'll put that on later. And this, oh, I thought she was attached on that side, but she's attached to the ledger. There's the children and their boat again. This time a die cut. Do you have a scan and cut? Or is that, I mean, that's too neat to be fussy cut by hand. So I wonder if that was a die cut or if you have a brother scan and cut or something. This is a bingo card, but it says Woods. Oh, that's a beautiful card with butterflies and a ticket. And the last signature, there's a sunflower card and another bottle cap. This is a watermarked typing paper or bond paper with more of that patchwork. I love that, and you did such a neat job with it. Here's another label for Little Brown Jug syrup. Love that. So when we went camping, my dad would make breakfast. Sometimes we just had cereal. I know my mom got those packs that used to be able to get from Kellogg's with the little boxes of Kellogg's cereals, and we would just take one, each of us would get one box. But other days, most of the days, my dad made breakfast on the griddle. And we would have pancakes some days and just eggs. But we had syrup, not Little Brown Jug syrup, but, you know, this is bringing up all kinds of memories that I can write about. But I haven't come yet to the memory that triggered me to really want this journal. This is really pretty. I don't think I've come to that page yet. I was thinking it was near the back. They're running from the fire here. Cades Cove, Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And a treble clef. I can write about my grandmother giving me piano lessons. This is from one of the little books, the little Rand McNally books or little elf books. I recognize that picture. This is what triggered my memory. Now, I'm not fond of skunks. I could write all kinds of things about this because there's a skunk story from when I was camping with my family and my brothers were out in the canopy, and there was a skunk out there. And then there was another story from when I was camping with my husband, and we were at our campfire, and there was a skunk roaming around our campsite while we were sitting at the fire. He was rustling in the trash bag that we put we had gotten there late, and so we had our dinner in the dark, and then we were sitting at the campfire, and our food scraps or whatever was in a trash bag on the picnic table, and he was rustling around there. I don't think he got up on the table. I don't think they can do that, but he was rustling around. And then he came over by the fire, and Bill told me, don't move, because it was under my chair. I could feel it under my chair. But he toddled off, and they moved slow, so it took him a long time to get off our campsite. So I can write all about that right here. But really, the big story about this is when my husband and I were dating, he had a car that he ordered with the color that he wanted, and it was a black sports car, a Matador X, and it was black with a white stripe, and he called it the Skunk. And he was so proud of that car. He was, we were young. I was 18 or 19, probably 18 at that time, and he was 3 years older. So it was his one and only in his whole life brand new car, and it was the Skunk. And I went to ceramics class with my grandmother, and I made him a figurine about yay big that was a really cute skunk. And we had that for a long time until it broke. But he ended up wrecking that car. He fell asleep on his way out to see me on those windy country roads, and His car went flying into the trees off. Instead of turning, he went straight, and it was an embankment there and trees, and he didn't get hurt, but his car sure did. It was totaled. So I have a lot of stories about skunks that I can write right here. And there's an envelope, a pocket page right here that I can add more if I need to. This is a game, a camping board game. That's really cute. Sorry if I took too long telling stories. This is just such a beautiful journal. There's a postage stamp from Poland with a wolverine or something there. And here is a real vintage label called Moxie, a wholesome beverage carbonated, more palatable if served ice cold. A wholesome, oh, I already read that. Moxie is a clean, sparkling, bittersweet beverage prepared under hygienic conditions. I wonder what flavor it is. I've never heard of it. And some cards for a card game. Perfect colors. She did a good job matching up colors. And, aw, she's sweet. A little girl feeding chickens. Or no, collecting eggs. Here's another postcard from Akron, Ohio. Rubber manufacturing center of the world. And then the back cover, inside cover, has this beautiful page from the book as a pocket. Well, this is just beautiful, Danielle. I can't wait to start playing in this. And I still need to look through this. I'll try not to take too long. I'm so glad I got it. I told myself I can make my own Cinderella journal if I really want a Cinderella journal. You know, I do keep a lot of the journals. I'll make a journal for myself from time to time. Some lace here. I'll save that for last. Oh goody, I've got some more cards to play with. Bumper and a chipmunk, and oh my gosh, I love these. Oh my word. I'm so happy to have those. I wonder how old they are. They look like they're brand new. Are they reproduction or are they really vintage? Doesn't matter to me. I love them either way. They do look vintage, but they look like maybe they were in an unopened package. Summer vacation memories. Awesome. I can write about camping. And this is what my husband and I camped in. A tent. We had, it was bigger than that, and it had sides. You know, it wasn't all slopey like that, but we had air mattresses in there. We took the kids camping with tents a few times, but they were not big fans of it. But my husband and I loved it after the kids left home. These are some cut-off pieces, I believe, that I can play with. And so all of these things will go in my bundle to work in that journal with. Life cycle of a butterfly and some pages, leftover pages from the book. These older books had more pages than the newer ones. And this packet, there's some book corners because those corners are soft. I can put book corners on. I might do that. I do like the look of book corners anyway. And these are nice ones. So I've got 4 of them. And here is a slide. And it's looks like a big outdoor picnic, like maybe at a picnic table. Maybe it's a family reunion or something. But that's what that is. And oh, I like these. Now I've got some of these, but these are the right colors. I don't have orange, and I don't have that yellow. I might have that green. I don't think I have orange. Anyway, these are going to stay in this bundle so I can use them in the book. and some wooden buttons. And this little scrap. Oh, these are great. They're sewn. I can make tabs out of them. This looks like Holly Hobby fabric. I had a piece of this that I used in Holly Hobby journals. So it looks like the fabric from her dress. And some crocheted flowers. I wonder if you made these. Do you make these? They're beautiful. I love them. Opportunity card, opportunity knocks, another game. Some vintage labels. Yes, these are real vintage labels in very good condition. Some game money. Some more of the coin holders. Coin rolls. Love them. Some playing cards that I can use in the journal. Love that. There's a squirrel. Oh my gosh, you gave me a bunch of stuff here. Some flashcards. Sears. Wow. Miss 20. Young Designer Collection. Norman Rockwell. Another reel. Wild Animals of Africa. Game money. Calendar page from 1945. Beautiful. There's those children with their boat again. Explorer cabins. Beautiful outdoor things. Chemical engineering, that's neat. And a yellow tabbed card. Rolodex, some more campers. We would walk around the campsite and admire everybody else's campers. These are great. So we've got some more little die cuts with some words and arrows. I think that probably, I can't get it apart, but it probably says trails or something. More like Denison type of stickers. Glamping. I never glamped. We were not. We kind of went primitive. Although, I don't think my husband and I camped with electric, but after a while my family did with our camper. Tent. And these little cutout pieces from the pages. So awesome, Danielle. I'm so excited about this journal. I'm so happy that I went ahead and bought it, because I really debated on whether I wanted to spend the money, and I thought it was worth it. And not that it was that expensive, but you know, it's not what you would call a necessity to buy a journal. But I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did. So thank you so much. I hope that you all enjoyed seeing it, and I hope you'll go pay her a visit at 11 Dancing Dandelions, and I will link her below. Thank you, Danielle. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.